cryptocurrency.
Like a couple Bitcoins.
Money,
Hold up on my Nakamoto.
All right.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the Blockchain Dynamics Show.
Episode number 26.
It is Saturday, August 27th, here at the Error by Trial Studios.
That's correct. And as usual, we are being brought to you by Cryptopia.
Cryptopia.co.nz. They are an altcoin platform, not just an exchange, but they've also got forums. They've got the arbitrage page, all kinds of cool features on Cryptopia, so definitely stop by and check them out.
Yep. And while you're over there, why not stop by their forums, head over to the old Blockchain Dynamics thread and give us a shout. Your old buddies, Woody and Brandon. And then we'll give you some dots.
Yep, dots are Cryptopia's native cryptocurrency. We have a thread that is stickied up there in the altcoin section of the Cryptopia forum, and we'll reward anybody who really tells us anything with dots.
But we're looking for that juicy stuff, so give us something good and we'll give you something extra.
Yep, it's true. We're always trying to get people to have the show be more interactive, I guess. And so if there's anything that you want to see on the show, if there's anything we say that's incorrect or in a correction or something that you have, feel free to drop by our Cryptopia thread and let us know, and we'll hit you up with some dots.
Hey, so let's jump right into it. Probably our feature of the week is going to be our interview with Library Credit's CEO.
Yep. Jeremy Kauffman.
Jeremy Kauffman.
Yep, so we're going to lead off with that. Library Credits, of course, kind of blasted onto the scene a few months ago, and we'll kind of let Jeremy speak to the rest.
Hey, this is Woody from Blockchain Dynamics.
And my name is Brandon Doge.
We're here with Jeremy Kauffman today. Jeremy, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Thanks for being here. Jeremy is from the Library Credits team.
Yeah.
Coin that people have probably noticed on the Poloniex market. That was kind of when we really took sight of Library, to be honest, Jeremy. That Poloniex listing was kind of out of nowhere for us, and it was good timing, too, I think.
Yeah, so we were like, oh, man, what is this coin? What's this all about here? So we're really happy that you were able to come on the show and hopefully explain to us a little bit more about LBC.
Yeah, I would love to. First, one of my jobs whenever I do a radio interview is to make sure that when we say library that everyone knows that it's spelled LBRY. So for those of you looking to Google it, make sure you type in LBRY.
Yeah, good
and,
note.
Yeah, and really even for us, something I'll say off the bat here is that we really, with Library, we saw ourselves as creating an application. We didn't even ask Poloniex to list us. They came and asked us and said, hey, can we put your cryptocurrency on our site?
Cool.
It was only about 6 weeks ago that we launched our beta, and we were expecting that to be a lot quieter than it has been over the last 6 weeks.
Interesting, cool. That's nice to hear a little background on that. So could you introduce yourself to our listeners and tell us about your position with LBC Library,
yeah,
LBRY?
Absolutely. I'm the CEO of Library. Prior to founding Library, I founded another software as a service company that served the sport and activity organizations. Some of our larger clients were organizations like USA Water Polo, USA Rugby. That company grew to be pretty substantial in size. But I had this idea for using the blockchain or blockchain technology to provide a decentralized, distributed content marketplace, which is the sort of high-level way of describing Library.
Sure,
if I'm talking to my grandmother, I say it's like YouTube, but it's controlled by its users.
Okay, yeah.
Right. So we're definitely big blockchain fans at the show, obviously. So how exactly does the LBC blockchain facilitate that goal?
So Library is actually more than just a blockchain. It's a protocol that specifies interactions that aren't at the blockchain level. But at the blockchain level, Library uses a blockchain to maintain a catalog of digital content, right? And that's I'm a computer scientist. That's my background. And in my opinion, the right way to think about blockchains is blockchain is a new type of database technology, right? A blockchain is a new way for us to be able to store data. We encode a set of rules, and then we're able to, via a decentralized distributed system, enforce that set of rules for what that data should be. And the sort of aha moment for Library was, well, what if we use that system to maintain a catalog of digital content? That was sort of the very first generation of the idea for Library was, let's take a blockchain and let's use that to maintain a database of digital content that's available.
Okay, and then is the content then itself stored on the database, or is it just a registry of the content?
It's just a registry, right? You could imagine that blockchain would get ridiculously large if you're, putting 10 gigabyte movie files in the blockchain itself.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was wondering about.
So it's just a registry, and then in that registry, the URL entries can then resolve to actually all kinds of content. URLs to things like to a website, to a BitTorrent link, to all kinds of different endpoints. So at sort of the highest level, what Library is a new type of sort of naming system for digital content, naming and discovery.
Very cool. So is the content then going to be curated in any way, or is it totally just kind of open?
Only curated as curated by the users of the protocol, right?
So go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, actually, I immediately was like, well, actually, so we as a company are also, we understand, and something I know a lot about is how do you get, users for a piece of software? How do you make something that people want to use? We also kind of understand that in the early days, it's helpful if we're, pushing some great stuff out there. So we went out and we got a deal with Oscilloscope Laboratories, which is a Hollywood motion picture studio. We got a deal with $1 Million Extreme, who is a sketch comedy troupe that's on Adult Swim. So some of that stuff is, that wasn't completely organic. That was us going out and getting these deals done. But we're not doing anything that any other, user of the protocol couldn't do.
One question that I had regarding the content, and I couldn't tell if this was if I was just making this up in my head, is the Library geared primarily towards movies and visual posts, or does it also work with just straight audio or text?
So it works for anything. It works for literally any piece of digital content. And that's what we're trying to build with Library is the most efficient, the most user-friendly, the most open, the most complete system for accessing, discovering, and possibly purchasing digital content. However, you can't do it all at once. And so as a first use case, we've really focused on video a lot more. But at a protocol level, it's designed to facilitate all of these things.
Okay, that makes sense. Cool.
How then are the tokens themselves distributed? Is this a mineable blockchain? Do you use proof of stake, that kind of stuff?
It's a mineable blockchain. It's proof of work. The algorithm itself is several different algorithms chained together just to make it just to fight the ASICs off a little bit longer.
Yeah,
we actually were hoping we would fight off the GPUs a little bit as well. I think it took something like 36 hours before someone had written a GPU miner anyway. So
that sounds about right.
Yeah, they're pretty quick these days.
Yeah, that part that was not one of the more successful aspects of the project. But really at a blockchain level and in terms of at a cryptocurrency level, Library is there's a lot of innovative things with Library. What we've done at that level, it's not that innovative, right? As a blockchain,
right.
At least in terms of hashing algorithms and stuff like that, we've basically taken Bitcoin, done what are some very much consensus improvements, like tweaked the block sizing, tweaked the scaling, right? Because the adjustment algorithm in Bitcoin was kind of poorly done.
Right.
Our block rewards are completely smooth, right? I think it's a mistake to have these moments where it halves because then all of a sudden the financial incentives to mine really jump tremendously. So I think having a smooth, continually logarithmic descent is a better model than having these halving points. But most of the innovation is really at levels above that. So when you get into how Library maintains, how Library does its naming system, how Library does discovery, these kinds of things are really where a lot more of the innovation is.
Nice. Can you tell us about maybe any interesting projects that are using LBC right now? Like what kind of interesting content is available for people today?
Well, so I happened to mention a couple of the pieces of content that are on Library. Now, those are just some of the bigger ones. There's already thousands of pieces of content on Library, but some of the bigger partnerships that we formed are with this Hollywood studio, Oscilloscope Laboratories. There's a company called Emergent Order that does a bunch of sketch comedy, and they do this great series called Econ Pop, which is like looking at movies from an economics perspective. They're really funny. $1 Million Extreme is a sketch comedy troupe that's on Adult Swim. We have a couple other ones lined up that we're going to be announcing, but I can't quite break them on the show. These are, it's still very much the early days. We've only let around 5,000 people into Library. The beta is currently, in terms of using the interface, it's currently a closed beta. And we have over 100,000 people waiting to get into that beta. And what we're waiting on is continuing to prove out the software, continuing to basically make it work. Like that beta when we first launched, it let you stream a movie. It worked for people probably 75% of the time, and that was all that it did. You couldn't upload. We had no interface where it could show recently published things. Right. We had no channel pages, user pages. It was really quite bare bones. But I'm from the startup school of you got to get the product out there. You got to get people interacting with it, because that's how you figure out what works and what doesn't. Right? You don't want to be sitting locked away in your laboratory. You want to be getting out in the public and interacting with the public. And so we wanted to get to that point as fast as possible. Development has been happening super fast. We have around 10 developers working on Library. We have 3 developers working full-time on Library. So there's been a ton of development, and you can see all of that on our GitHub page, github.com/libraryio, where you'll see an incredible amount of development work going on. And I should, of course, mention that every single aspect of Library is open source. Even our website is open source. Every piece of code we write, we put it up on GitHub and we open source it.
Awesome.
Cool. There's some other projects that are kind of trying to do similar things, like Steam and Safe and Scenario. Do you view those, or how does Library compare to those in your opinion, or is there no reason to compare them? I don't know.
I don't see them as being too comparable. I like the Steam project. Now, I haven't looked into it rigorously, so I don't want to give it a really solid 2 thumbs up, but certainly my experiences on Steam have been positive. I've met Ned. He's a good guy. And it's done well, right? Like, something that disappoints me in a lot of blockchain projects is that they seem to, maybe they play to the community a little bit too much, or they're really interested in building something that are kind of like crypto. I don't want to say nerds. People who are really into crypto are into. Don't get me wrong. I love crypto nerds. I'm a nerd about this stuff. Again, my background is computer science and physics, so I'm not knocking nerds. But you gotta create something that the public wants to use. You have to create something that a normal person sees value in. Right?
Right. Actually, we felt the same way about a lot of the content that is being curated on Steam, that it really appealed to a specific type of person, and that's kind of was like already becoming like a cycle of people posting a particular type of content.
Right.
So, does Library have a particular feel, or it's just it's fairly eclectic? I think it sounds like so far.
Yeah, well, I actually wasn't I wasn't knocking Steam for that. That's the nature of the early users, and quite frankly, Library's early users are into crypto and they are a little nerdy and so on, and we love them for that. But what I was actually trying to compliment Steam, because what I think Steam has done really well is they made it really user friendly. Like they made it so that someone who now the content on there may not be of interest to the average person yet, but an average person would have no problem going onto Steam, understanding how to create an account, interacting with it, right? It's going to make sense to practically everyone. And so I think that's really great that they're taking that approach, and that's very much the approach that we're trying to take as well.
Nice.
And yeah, I think that's definitely a cool approach in terms of, ideally people will be interacting with the blockchain kind of without even knowing that they're doing that.
Exactly.
So that's definitely kind of one of the cool things that we are hoping to see more of.
Right, you have to be a bit of an ideologue to care about some of this stuff. And again, don't get me wrong, I'm an ideologue, right? But that's not how you don't achieve success solely off of an ideology, right? What people care about is, well, why do I care? Is this interesting? Does this let me see something that I wouldn't have seen otherwise? Does this let me access something in a better way than the existing alternatives? Right, not just this is it's more private or it's more secure. These things are important, but they're important to maybe 1% to 2% of your users. That may be unfortunate, but that's the reality.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there.
So, what do you think, ETH or ETH Classic?
Well, I'm torn on that. So my personal opinion is that it was a mistake, I think, for Ethereum to fork on that basis. Yeah. You can't simultaneously say that the blockchain is law and code is law, and then when you get a result you don't like, say, oh, well, actually we're going to change it. Yeah. At the same time, you want to be betting on a project that's going to continue to have a strong team behind it, that's going to continue to be developed. Like Ethereum, there's still plenty of work to be done. And so who are the people out there that are going to be supporting Ethereum Classic? Can you trust them to be continuing to deliver at a high level the way that, Ethereum, the team behind Ethereum is a very strong team, in my opinion. I think they made a mistake specifically in that area. And so whether or not, which one, do you want to jump ship just because of that one mistake? I'm not sure that I would advocate doing that, but I do think it was a mistake for them to do what they did.
Yeah, and we love both coins, honestly. It's just fun to think about.
It's funny. And it really goes to show that, a lot of people are into blockchain. They kind of, they don't like politics. They don't like the current political, paradigms. They kind of hate it. But then they've created this world that, ultimately ends up being pretty political. And we want to believe that the software code is law, but what we've seen with all of these hard fork debates is that, well, it's kind of like democracy by hashing power. It's not exactly free from politics in the world of blockchain.
Yeah, and it's just an interesting, it's something that every blockchain is going to have to think about in terms of governance and stuff. So, yeah. But going back to LBC, what would be a good way for people to get involved today? Well,
the thing that I would absolutely recommend everyone to do is to go to lbry.io/get, or just go to the homepage and click Get Library or whatever the button says, and sign up. The earlier you sign up, the earlier you get access, the larger reward that you will get the earlier you sign up. And so the number one thing I would say is sign up today. All you have to do is enter your email address, and you're going to get a substantial reward for doing that. So that's the first thing I would recommend that people do. We're certainly always looking for more talented people as well. So a lot of the people that we have hired have all come from inside of the community. They've all expressed interest first. So if you're you could be anything from a hacker to a graphic artist to whatever your skill set may be. There's lots of ways to start getting involved with the project. And by the way, if you do have skills, that's a great way for us to, we'll kind of skip you in front of that wait list if you show to us that you have some skills and you can contribute. So that's another thing that I would absolutely recommend doing is we have a bounty program at /bounty on our website, or you can reach out to me directly. I'm always interested in meeting, more talented people. And my email address is jeremy@lbry.io.
Awesome. I think that's about all of the questions we have. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Jeremy?
We could talk a little bit more about how Library works, if you think your users would be interested in that, or where we're going with it, or things like that.
Yeah, I'd love to hear some more about that.
Well, so one of the things that's really unique about Library that we haven't really talked about is the way that the naming system works. So, what Library is actually trying to do is create a system where you have URLs, right? So just like we have, www.blockchaindynamics.net, http://www. We leave off the HTTP. Library is actually a system that is designed to compete with HTTP. Library is designed to be more efficient than HTTP for static data that does not change from access to access. Like a movie, right? Everyone watches the same movie. Whereas websites, they look at your IP and they show you the ads or whatever, right? So that's not the same for each user. But a movie is the same for each person who accesses it. And so what we are trying to do is create a system where you can create a URL, LBRY:// it's a disaster, and that maps to and returns the Hollywood film It's a Disaster with David Cross and Julia Stiles. So we're trying to get to a point where anyone could enter that into their browser, put that into their browser. If it costs money, it quickly says, oh, do you want to pay $3, $5 to download this? And then if you say yes, you access it and it comes right through. And so that's what we're trying to do is to create this kind of system. And one of the really unique things we're doing with that naming in that URL system is rather than having people buy the names and own them forever, which creates all of these speculation problems, right? Namecoin had 160,000 names registered and like 50 of them actually returned something. Library has done it in this continual auction format. So basically, there's no incentive to speculate. The incentive to control the name is for the person who can actually return what people are looking for. Because that's how you're going to actually get a financial reward, right? I can't just buy a name and hope to sell it later and hope to extort someone because they didn't get there fast enough. There's really only an incentive to buy a name if you're going to return what people are actually looking for.
Well, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, that's I had no idea about the extension part of that, the making it a web address. That's awesome.
And so are we talking about it being accessible through a browser within the actual Library client, or would that be then accessible with just regular browsers and stuff?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, we can't force Google Chrome to speak Library. We'll have to get a little bit more popular before they're going to do that. If you have the Library software installed, that's actually exactly what it lets you do. You can, if you install our software, you can, in your web browser, type in the URL, LBRY:// it's a disaster, and it will return the film. That already works in our existing version of the software.
All right, excellent. Yeah, I guess that's kind of more what I was wondering, I guess, is when you have the Library software, can you then just use your browser to access it?
Yep, that's exactly right. And that's how our UI runs. So the way that the software works is you install what's called a daemon. It's like a background process. It just kind of runs in the background on your computer. And what that does is it then allows your computer to speak the Library protocol. So you can access Library in your browser. We have a user interface, and that user interface is in your browser as well. So you're getting, if I were to show someone the Library software and they weren't a sophisticated computer user, they would just think they're on a website, right? We're providing an experience that's a lot like YouTube or a lot like, Amazon or iTunes or Google or any of these services. It feels a lot like them. It looks like them. But it's powered by a network that has absolutely no centralization, where there's no point of failure where someone can go and say, oh, well, you got to take that content off the network, or, et cetera. So it's a very, very familiar and user-friendly experience, but it's powered by a completely decentralized network.
Well, man, this just sounds like pretty sweet project. Is there an actual timeline that you guys are going to move forward on, or is that kind of just when it's ready type of project? Yeah, well, it's difficult to predict these things, so you're not going to get me to give you an actual date on this show. We do have a roadmap, and I was actually working on just this morning making that roadmap more public and user-friendly, so you're going to see that roadmap becoming public-facing pretty soon.
We have our own internal sort of KPIs or performance. That's jargon. That's key performance indicators. Basically, we have our own metrics that we're looking at. So, how many people when they boot library actually have it load correctly? How many people when they click stream, does it work for them successfully, and so on. And so, when we hit certain levels and when we've got it on all of the platforms, then we will completely end that wait list. Until we're at that point, we're gonna keep it in the beta version. But people who it's not going to be very long before the people who are on that list get in, right? We're looking at certainly we're looking to get through all of those people within a matter of months.
Okay, cool.
Well, yeah, that sounds really great, Jeremy. We want to say a huge thanks to you for coming on the show. I think that was a great explanation of what LBRY is all about.
Yep, that's a library. LBRY.io is the website.
Yep.
Thanks again, Jeremy.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Bye.
Yeah, you too.
Whoa.
And that was Jeremy Kauffman, of course, from LBRY. I actually did have a chance to check out the beta on LBRY there, and was able to post one of our episodes, our last episode. And yeah, the beta version at least is really clean so far.
Cool.
It's really, it just has a really straightforward interface. So yeah, really cool project, and I would definitely recommend trying to sign up at least for the beta. It's lbry.io/get.
And there you heard it from Jeremy Kauffman.
Up next, we're going to jump right into the news. Probably the biggest news item this week, I would say, is the Monero Pump.
Gonna have to be that Monero Pump.
It's pretty much in full steam. Just hit 930,000 as we record this right now.
Yep. Still going up, apparently.
Feels like something that I guess a lot of people have been expecting for a while. But then again, I also wasn't, savvy enough to actually,
No.
Just stock up on Monero or
No,
anything.
no, this coin's never quite made sense to me for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's very
But
different.
it's always done really well.
Monero, of course, is the first crypto note coin, uses the crypto note algorithm, completely different wallet from the Bitcoin base, and it uses, I believe it uses ring signatures as well. So essentially, it's all privacy focused, so it's directly in competition with Dash and some of the other privacy themed coins. And it seems like it's been doing really well in that market.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe some of the news that this coin is moving on that we found is related to it being accepted on some darknet websites or something like that.
Yeah, we did find the press release of some sort kind of announcing that there were some darknet websites adopting Monero, that they had been getting a lot of pressure essentially to do that, which is interesting to see. It's always, we always look for use cases in these use cases for these different cryptocurrencies. And sometimes, underground activity is one of them.
Yeah, but who knows to how quickly something like that would be implemented, or the actual intention of even implementing it. We wouldn't really know.
But yeah, we did see the price of Monero pretty much double.
Yeah,
almost overnight. And obviously for those people who've been holding Monero for so long, congratulations to them.
Yeah,
I guess.
amazing. Nice work.
Yep.
Bam.
So yeah, there's Monero. Up next, huge announcement from Poloniex. They're going to delist a very large number of coins.
Yeah, wow. Quite a listing of coins from Poloniex, or delisting, I should say. It's probably everyone's got a favorite in there, I would probably guess, right?
Yep. Let's just read through them real quick.
Okay.
ABY, that's ArtByte. There's ADN, which is Aiden. BitUSD, Coinomat. The DAO.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big name.
Yeah.
There's one called DSH, that's Dash Pay. That's like a coin that was called Dash Coin, and then
I remember the day that Dark switched to Dash.
And they took their name. Really funny. FIBRE is next. FLT, that's Flutter. Gapcoin, GRS, I think that's Grid Stake. Hyperstake, Infinite Coin, Liquid Coin, Moneta Verde, Mint, something called MMC. I'm not sure what that is. MNT is Moneta. PIGGYcoin. We're sad to see that one delisted. PIGGYcoin was a coin that we were able to mine and trade.
Yeah, that was a fun proof of work coin at the beginning of its life, that's for sure.
Yep, of course, targeted at the youth demographic.
Yep.
Never really caught on there, but just always been a great coin that we really enjoyed. PTS, that's a BitShares subcoin. Silk coin.
Which was a big mining coin.
Yep, back in the day. That's a 2014 coin. Swarm coin, World coin, X currency, Crypty, XPB, XUSD, and YACC is the full list there.
It's been a while since they've delisted anything.
Yeah, and apparently they're doing it just on en masse, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think this is kind of surprising. Poloniex had always kind of distinguished itself in some ways in the past by not really delisting coins very frequently.
Well, yeah, definitely.
But I guess they do have to do it eventually.
Eventually
so.
you do.
So yeah, I guess if you're holding those coins, you better get them off Poloniex or come up with some other plans because their time has come.
Yep. Yep. In other news, there's some new miners coming out.
Yep, Bitmain has announced that they are going to be releasing a new miner that is focused at hobbyists again. And I think this is a pretty interesting move. The main difference between this and its other miners is that it's just supposed to be quieter, which is somebody who's I ran a couple of old Bitmain miners, just S5s, kind of close to my bedroom for a while, and they're definitely noisy if you leave them as is. I changed the fans out for quieter fans.
Still had to keep them pretty far away, though.
But yeah, you still wouldn't even with quieter fans, you wouldn't want to be necessarily in the room with them. So I'm sure that'll still be the case with this new miner.
Yeah.
But compared to the S9 and stuff, which is even louder than some of the older miners, I think this will probably be
Like maybe you'd at least be able to keep it in your closet without it blasting you out.
Yeah, I think you could keep it in a basement or something. You wouldn't want to be in the same room. You could probably be in the room next to it or something though.
Guess we'll prove it. Well, I mean, if you could keep it under your bed and not hear it, that'd be pretty dope, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd feel safe keeping a 900 watt miner underneath my bed just cooking away, but
Well, it's well ventilated under there.
So yeah, new miner from Bitmain. The specs on it: 8.65 terahash, 845 watts, and about $1,300 with the built-in power supply. So as usual with Bitcoin miners, not really a great ROI calculation.
Always ahead of the curve at the time of the purchase, it seems like.
Yeah, exactly. But in a year's time or whatever, the difficulty will be doubled, so that calculation will be a lot worse.
It's how it keeps going, at least. But it's a bet.
But you can do okay on miners if you catch a good altcoin. Obviously, that can be a huge break.
Yep.
Or alternately, if you're good at playing the market in terms of buying and selling the hardware, like you could buy a miner, run it for 6 months, maybe 6 to 9 months, and then try and sell it again. Sometimes people are able to get good returns that way.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, watch out for the new Bitcoin, the Bitmain miner.
Cryptsy's back in the news.
Yeah, really happy to see Cryptsy back in the news, I guess.
For people that might not know, Cryptsy is a defunct cryptocurrency exchange.
Yeah, when we got into crypto back in January of 2014, Cryptsy was kind of like the biggest exchange in altcoins. And obviously it met an unfortunate end. And now there is a lawsuit against Cryptsy that has gotten class action status, which means that essentially anybody who was negatively affected by Cryptsy, probably only American citizens, I guess, but any who were negatively affected by Cryptsy will essentially be claimants in this lawsuit should it succeed.
Seems appropriate.
So yeah, it's pretty hilarious to think that, I had not a large amount of coins, but I had a few altcoins on Cryptsy still when it went down.
Right, yeah.
It would be really, I'm trying to imagine the process of filing like a notice for those coins and trying to get the value out of them, because it's so, we all know that the value of altcoins is so kind of temporary. It's really funny to imagine how you would try to actually claim the value on those coins.
Should be a hell of a court case.
Yeah, it's gonna be an excellent court case.
I hope something kind of comes of it, because that guy seems. I mean, I would imagine there are some people which are owed a lot of money, and then most people which are owed insignificant amounts.
Yeah,
people
I'm
in
curious.
between, I'm sure too. But
yeah, I definitely have to feel for the people who lost, but at the same time, he also should get his day in court. I don't know enough about the situation to really say exactly where everything went wrong. It seems, it doesn't look good from the outside, but
Cryptsy never seemed good to us, though.
Yeah, we were skeptical from the beginning, but at the same time, for a while that was the main thing.
That was where we were at.
That's where you sold your
Watching the
altcoins.
Dogecoin price go up and up.
Yep.
Day after day.
Thanks to Wo Long. Let's see. So yeah, there's Cryptsy. As far as market news this week, the biggest gainers were Monero, of course.
Going way up.
Yeah, more than doubling. Syndicate was the number 2 gainer in market cap at plus 50%. And Cryptonite, number 3 at plus 45%.
Cruising along.
And that will do it for the news this week. We are going to jump next right into our random coin spotlight.
The random coin this week is the Global Currency Reserve.
Global Currency Reserve. This one kind of surprised us when it popped up in the random list, because we didn't really know much about it.
Yep. It started on June 28th, 2015, according to their Block Explorer.
So it's a little more than a year old. But just checking out the specs on this, it's a 100% proof of stake coin, which means it's probably just an IPO. Could just be a 100% pre-mine situation.
Traded on both Bittrex and Yobit. 100% of the volume is on Bittrex.
Yep, it's got decent volume there on Bittrex.
Yeah, it does.
In terms of futures, it just really has the standard kind of Bitcoin feature set, like, we do transactions over global distances, secure, decentralized. And so I kind of have to wonder why it has such a high market cap. I didn't really see a great case for this coin. And I have to wonder if is it a situation where it's just because, one person has all the coins like you sometimes see, or is there really actually a community behind this coin?
Yeah.
I wasn't really able to tell, at least not, but just by doing the research that I was able to do.
Yeah, I hear you, man. And that is kind of interesting thing about these random coins, I guess. It's like, here's one that is worth $1.5 million, but seems like there's not a lot of information available.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just being traded on one exchange.
But it's out there. It is one of the highest market cap coins, and it's called Global Currency Reserve.
We always love to go through those new posts. You know us.
Yep, that was the random coin spotlight, and now we are going to dive right in to the new posts. There were a lot of posts this week.
Yep,
and
we're getting into some good posts.
Yeah, some better ones than normal. We were kind of excited about the posts this week. So we're going to just go through them real quick. We're going to start with the proof of work coins.
Yeah.
We're doing a new thing now just to try and organize the new posts better. We're going to break them up into the proof of work and proof of stake coins, and then the ICO coins will be separate, and then like the re-announcements and relaunches will be another category as well.
That's right. The first proof of work coin this week is Bipcoin.
Bipcoin. This is a crypto note coin, so pretty well timed with the Monero Pump, I would say, in terms of we've seen a few of these crypto note coins come and go in the past, and we haven't seen very many get traction. And so I'm wondering, now that Monero is really back in the news and back in people's minds, if they might do better. There was a funny thing in this thread, if you check it out. The developer released the coin, and people are asking him all these questions about, what his plans for the coins are and stuff. And he's like, well, actually, I'm really busy. I'm working 60 hours a week, so I don't really have time to do anything with BIP. And it's really funny. It's like, well, why did you launch the coin then? It's hard to know. I always love it when people post excuses for, not doing the development of coins. Like,
I mean, God, it's been 3 days. I launched the coin, man. Get off my back.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think that obviously most of these coins are projects that are done in people's spare time. And so I would never hold it against somebody for not putting a lot of time into a coin. But it's always funny to see how people, what approach people take to that aspect of the development.
I do like his cute little cat icon. He has a little cat and it says "No Gov Crypto."
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it's under the no government license. I'm curious to know how that would actually be enforced. But yeah, it's Bipcoin, and it's generated quite a bit of interest. I wouldn't be surprised to see it get a little bit of value once it starts trading. But we will find out.
We sure will. And we'll move on to the next new announcement, which was Sigma Coin.
Sigma at first.
XSA.
XSA.
Fancy graphics, but not much content here.
Yeah, it looked like could be a good post at first, but then eventually you find out about the 20% pre-mine, and then you realize that it turned out that the pre-mine was actually much higher. I think they found at the end because of the, proof of work, block replacement, and all that kind of other stuff. So yeah, Sigma, not going to be a good one.
But maybe we'll take a look at CurryWurst coin.
CurryWurst coin.
Now, this guy posted another coin recently.
All right, this is from the same developer as Benji Rolls.
Mm.
And I had mentioned Benji Rolls the past couple weeks because I thought that it might get some traction just as like a novelty coin, kind of like maybe something like Billary or some of the other joke coins that have done more well recently. But now I see that the same developer has launched another kind of joke coin called CurryWurst coin. Similar to Benji Rolls, it's a script proof of work with no pre-mine as far as I can see. But it just tells you that if this one, for him to be launching another kind of joke tribute coin so soon means that, you're probably not, it's not something you're going to want to mine for a return on investment. But it's definitely something that you could mine just if you like CurryWurst.
Damn straight.
So yeah, I think it's fun when people do tribute coins like this, and I think it's like,
although
why
I
not?
can't say I've ever had CurryWurst. It looks kind of weird and delicious to me.
It looks like a bratwurst with curry on it.
Yeah, and also fried.
Oh, the whole thing is fried?
Or it looks sort of fried. I mean, unless that red stuff just looks like ketchup.
Yeah. I think it looks like ketchup with curry powder, I guess. Who knows?
Yeah.
I guess we don't have much currywurst where we live.
Looks good though.
But yeah, we're glad this guy likes it. And if you're bored looking to get a kind of a goofy altcoin, maybe check out CurryWurst coin.
This next food is actually really popular in our parts. PizzaCoin.
PizzaCoin.
It's probably popular everywhere.
Yeah, I think pizza's become a global phenomenon at this point, but a surprising number of food coins this week.
Yep.
But as far as the technical aspects of it, it's a huge pre-mine situation, as we're used to seeing X11 algorithm, and got right onto CCX with some kind of suspiciously high volume, like it's the whole
getting traded and traded.
Yeah, it's
People
got a huge
want it.
pre-mine. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there's PizzaCoin. Probably you might see it on the volume charts for a while, but probably not going to get a very high value.
Yeah. I mean, the idea of having a coin that was accepted everywhere for pizza is just amazing, but so unrealistic that starting from where they're starting from is nothing much to look at, unfortunately.
Yeah, if you're
in the
going to
long term.
If you're going to make a coin like this, I'd rather it be like CurryWurst coin, where it's kind of out there as a joke. There's no pre-mine or anything. Whereas when you make a coin like PizzaCoin and you do the huge pre-mine and push it onto an exchange or something, it turns it from something that could be fun into something that's just dubious.
BitToken.
BitToken, this is a really interesting post, I thought.
Yeah, looking good here. Got a no pre-mine.
We've got no pre-mine.
No ICO.
No ICO. It's themed off of Bitcoin, so it's intended to compare itself as a Bitcoin clone than less of a conventional altcoin, I guess. The same supply, 21 million max supply, 15 tokens per block, kind of a slower block reward. What caught my attention on this one is it was launched by Gladimore, who recently, this week, he coordinated the Bittrex community fund for getting Syndicate listed on Bittrex. So that's how I kind of...
Oh, interesting connection.
That's kind of how I first became aware of him. And so he had coordinated that community effort. And then now I see that this week that he's launching BitToken. And then we see BitToken get on Coinexchange right away with pretty good volume. It's pretty obvious that they're at least somewhat serious about this project. As always, and especially with coins that are directly themed off of Bitcoin, we always wonder how they can gain traction in the long term.
Right.
Just competing directly against Bitcoin like that without without smart contracts or Anon or these other big futures. How can you just create an altcoin that competes with Bitcoin kind of on the fundamentals? That seems to be the approach here with BitToken. But in terms of actual new coin launches, I think it's a really solid one.
Does look like a solid one to mine.
1.5 petahash hash on it too right now, which is huge. I don't know if that's a reflection of some of just the proliferation of ASICs, of higher speed ASICs, or if it's just an increase in interest, but it seems like a huge hash rate on SHA coins this week.
Yeah. This one is definitely one to keep an eye on, and I'm seeing that it's on Supernova.
Yep, Supernova listing.
Which actually, I didn't think they had listed anything this week.
Oh, well. There you go.
So there it is.
Next on the list is B3 coin. This is an X11 proof of work coin. It looked really cool at the launch, but then it turned out to have a broken retargeting algorithm. And then I guess they relaunched it, but it seems like people have lost interest. It's kind of, I don't know what you call it, floundering in the...
That's what it looks like to me too.
It's got 500 blocks of zero reward, and then 1,000 blocks of high reward, where most of the blockchain gets distributed. And it's actually like it's been stuck in the zero reward blocks with nobody to mine it.
Damn.
So I guess that shows the folly of going too far on the anti-insta mine.
That's a swing and a miss.
Yep. So sorry to B3. Maybe, who knows
Maybe
what.
we'll see you soon.
I'm sure that chain will get going eventually, so we could be surprised by it down the road.
Yeah. BVBCoin.
BVBCoin. This is a coin for a German football club.
Cool.
5% pre-mine. That's kind of pushing it in terms of what people will tolerate, I think. But otherwise, it has a 100,000 block proof of work phase. 3.5 million coins total, but 1 million of those are in the first 100 proof of work blocks. So it seems like I liked this coin, but between the 5% pre-mine and the really front-loaded rewards, it seems like they might be trying to. It seems like they're trying to hide a huge pre-mine behind an insta mine, essentially. So I don't know if I like that.
Right. If they were kind of, let's say, part of the fan base of this football club, and the cryptocurrency were part of that, then that would probably be an interesting thing. But of course, they're not really talking much about the plan or even their ability to do anything beyond make this a tribute coin to the football club.
Right, and they don't really have any evidence that they have much of a direct connection with that community. And so that's always something to watch with these new coins. That was BVBCoin.
Up next is Fast Cash.
This is just a 100% pre-mine. It's funny, he advertises at 100% pre-mine.
Right.
But there is actually a 10,000 block proof of work. So you could grab a few, but I mean, I wouldn't.
One
It's
coin
just
per block.
Yeah, it's just a huge CCX
It's already got high volume on CCX,
Fake volume on CCX.
just burning it down to zero, however it works out.
Yep. So that's Fast
mathematically.
Cash.
X1 coin.
This coin was pretty funny. It's like an anti-OneCoin themed coin.
I don't really remember OneCoin. Like I think we might have talked about it, or I heard about it at one point. But this guy seems to think it was the biggest scam of 2016.
Yep. Somebody got ripped off by apparently a bad coin called OneCoin. They've now made X1Coin. I guess I don't really know what they're trying to get out of it with that approach, but
It seems like they were trying to show people the difference between a bad coin and a good coin would be what they're doing here.
okay. Well, it's out there, X1Coin. And the last proof of work coin that was launched this week is Jincoin.
Jincoin. I really liked this one.
Jin means gold in Chinese, probably.
This is
I
the
guess.
type of one where it gets posted and seems like they're just pandering a little
Mandarin,
too
yeah.
much, like to
Yeah.
me, maybe it's a little better, too good. Can't quite be as good as it seems. You got the Chinese connection. You've got the no ICO, zero pre-mine, which doesn't feel like a big thing right now because this week we finally have some, but in the last few weeks there's been nothing.
Yeah, you definitely, if he'd launched this in the past couple of weeks, he would have really stood out for the no pre-mine. But we did see a few this week.
Yep. Not very interesting pools, really. Kind of some offshoot ones.
Yeah, it's just an SHA proof of work coin for now. But once again, with no pre-mine and no ICO, they could be good. There's a few things that are a little sloppy about it. The posted block reward is different than what is the actual block reward. And that can sometimes throw people off. So I'm not sure. It seems it doesn't seem serious.
Nope.
But it also is the type of coin where you could come back and check it out in a week or two.
I think this is going to be a really good group to look back at next week. It'll be really fun.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of these proof of work coins have longer proof of work phases, so you'll be able to kind of let the initial burst of hash die down.
Yeah.
And then you can really mine them when nobody's paying attention.
So we'll be looking at where some of those are at next week as well.
Yeah, funny thing about Jincoin, like we mentioned, there's really nothing flashy about it. It's just kind of a coin that's saying, hey, I'm here, I'm Jincoin. But even then, it has 350 terahash net hash. And that's on a long proof of work coin as well. So we're really seeing huge SHA hash rates this week.
Right.
And that was the proof of work coins. Next, we're going to talk about the ICOs. We're not as interested in ICOs, so we'll just run through them, I guess.
First up is CryptoDex.
CryptoDex, the idea here is that you will point your hash to some kind of a pool, and in return you get information about coins. So kind of a weird theme. So like you'll point your miner at a pool that is themed towards smart contracts, and then in return they'll give you some kind of hidden information that they have about smart contracts. But I don't know how they would secure that information, like from just being disseminated for free once people have it outside of the blockchain, So I wasn't really sold on this one. Next ICO was MakeCoin.
MakeCoin.
This one looked really bad.
Yeah, this one's really weird looking. In fact, they're taking Bitcoin as well as Waves.
A Bitcoin and Waves ICO.
No.
Oh no, that's MVP.
Oh, we'll get to that then. I'm sorry.
Make was just kind of a generic looking post asking for money.
Let's do Wave or the MVP then next.
Yep. Next up is MVP lineup token. This is a fantasy sports themed ICO.
Correct.
And they're taking Bitcoin and Waves.
Which was confusing to me because there didn't seem to be any connection between their blockchain and Waves aside from the fact that they wanted them to fund their project.
Yeah, it seems like they're really just appealing to the Waves market. And I think they're going to have a hard time getting traction here. Not the first fantasy sports themed coin. And just another thing that is going to be competing with a lot of other actual smart contract-based platforms in the future.
Definitely. Up next in the ICO category, we're taking a look at BlockSafe.
BlockSafe. So I thought this was an interesting post. It's coming out of Atlanta, and they're saying that they want to integrate blockchains with smart guns.
First smart guns we've heard of.
Yeah, I'm not a firearm enthusiast, so I had not really heard about this idea of smart guns before.
Well, you will be now.
But now it's everywhere. As usual, Jukely and I are often a little skeptical, and I'm curious just to know how a blockchain could really be implemented that directly, into something that physical, I guess. But
Yep. The post indicates that this will be a ICO on Bittrex exchange.
Yep, going to be on Bittrex exchange. You can check out blocksafefoundation.com is the website.
I like the idea in a certain sense of making a gun hard to unlock like that, except I think that there's already sufficient technology available for people that want to lock their guns, like a lock.
Yeah, once again, they are going to be competing against just locks. So I'm curious as to what are the other features that a smart gun would offer somebody.
And unfortunately, they don't go into much detail on the post that they have at this point, but maybe we'll see what happens later on down the road.
Yeah, I think this is the most interesting of the IPOs this week. If I was just going to check out one, it would probably be BlockSafe.
The final ICO this week is Waycoin.
Yeah, this is just a Yobit ICO. There's really not much else to say. It's what you'd expect.
We're going to go over a couple posts that were just relaunches or re-announcements of coins, rebranding in this case. Koval is what they're going by now.
Koval, you've probably seen this in the
Circuits
volume.
of Value.
Yep, you've probably seen it on exchanges. It's called Circuits of Value. And we were confused by this because it's a rebranding of Ribbit Rewards.
Yeah, and it was weird because it changed on CoinMarketCap like way before this announcement. We were confused by that.
Yeah, I think they probably did another announcement before, and this is just This is just the one that we saw.
So they told us they were going to rebrand as something else.
Yeah, we covered their first rebrand a few months ago when they said they were going to call the coin Loyal, and they had worked up some graphics and stuff for it. I don't know if they ever released a wallet with the name Loyal, but then we now just all of a sudden out of nowhere kind of see them rebranded as Circuits of Value. So they must have decided to go in a different direction at some point, I guess. But
It's a weird coin.
yep, we always get skeptical of excessive rebranding, so hopefully they'll be happy with the name Circuits of Value. I guess Ribbit Rewards is a interesting name to begin with.
But they're one of those coins with a really high market cap.
Yeah, and people love this coin, so there's obviously something there.
There's something going on. The final one this week is going to be the Yocoin Classic.
Yocoin Classic, we both chuckled when we saw this. So Yocoin did a fork to become an Ethereum smart contract.
Yeah.
So not really a fork, I guess, a complete swap. And now we saw announced this week Yocoin Classic. And that could have been really funny.
Could have been a great opportunity to do something hilarious.
But it's not actually Yocoin Classic.
No, unfortunately, this is a totally new separate blockchain.
They made a new blockchain, a new script blockchain, and so now it feels pointless. I don't know. Ethereum Classic has just created such a frenzy in the market that we're kind of rooting for some other chains to release classic versions of old forks, just to stir the pot, I guess. But Yocoin Classic, you didn't do it right.
Yep. Well, we might as well move on to some of those sweet coin listings.
Yeah, that does it for the new coins this week. Just take a quick look back at the list. Big list this week.
Sure, yeah. Well, under the proof of work coins, I'm going to be taking another look at BitToken.
Definitely BitToken.
Gonna have to check out B3 again, honestly, if it manages to get its shit together.
I'm going to keep an eye on Bipcoin. I think there could be something going on there as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's probably it for the new coins. So yeah, coin listings are next.
Listing up those coins on our good friends Cryptopia.
Cryptopia added a few coins this week. They added Postcoin.
Yep.
They added BVBCoin.
That's that German soccer team coin.
Yep. They added FujiCoin.
FujiCoin.
And they added
Interesting.
Infinite Coin.
Cool.
Infinite is one of the coins that is getting delisted from Poloniex.
Oh, okay.
So they're probably looking for a new home on Cryptopia.
Well, I hope they're going to be quite comfy there.
I think they've made a great choice.
Over on Bittrex, they've listed Syndicate.
Syndicate finally, probably 2 or 3 months after launch, has reached Bittrex. They got there, like we said earlier, through a community fund type thing. Somebody named Gladamore started a community account that eventually was able to raise 3 Bitcoins. They got the Bittrex listing. The price went up quite a bit, up about 50% this week. And we'll see what happens from here. This is going to be a crucial moment for Syndicate, I think, in terms of the timeline. Can they get futures out? And are they going to be able to build up a long-term community now that they are actually kind of on a higher liquidity market?
Yeah. Yeah, Bittrex, people are comfy buying there, people are comfy selling there.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be really up to the the team, and the community to make something happen.
Bittrex also listed GLD.
GLD, I don't know anything about it.
This was a relisting, apparently.
Yep, it got delisted, and now it's back.
So if you had your balance reinstated, then whoop-de-doo.
Yeah. Congratulations on getting your gold back.
UNB.
That's Unbreakable Coin. And it
Also
is
back.
back on Bittrex.
Yobit listed a couple coins. We mentioned the Waycoin ICO.
Yep, and they also listed PXCoin. That's a relaunch of a coin called PXCoin.
CCX listed PizzaCoin.
Yep, PizzaCoin on CCX. And then the last exchange this week is Coinexchange.io.
Yeah, and they listed Blackcoin, Bluecoin, Britcoin, CannabisCoin, SigmaCoin, and then they put that PeepCoin / Dogecoin market up.
They added a PeepCoin / Doge pair, which is funny. And we'll see what happens there.
Yeah. Just as a reminder, PeepCoin is the one that's going to be $1 million each.
Yeah, they offered they promised a $1 million giveaway on PeepCoin, and now it's trading against Dogecoin. So, how many Dogecoin do you need to make $1 million? I wonder.
Not enough to get. No, never. What?
Yeah, you're gonna need a lot of Dogecoin. But so yeah, we usually would do our coin birthdays next, but we couldn't find any this week.
Nope. I guess not.
Yeah, August is usually slow for coin announcements, but we have seen quite a few this week. So I guess it will remain to be seen whether they have what it takes to reach the birthday mark.
Yes, that's right. All the coins that have launched this week, if we see you next year, then you've made it further than the coins prior to you.
I bet it's like 1 in 15 or 1 in 20 coins that even makes it 1 year.
And you went back and looked, and there was a bunch of them announced this week, last year.
Yeah, I went back through the Bitcoin Talk announcements and tried to find coins that were still around, and there were just, if you go back 2 years especially, but also 1 year ago, there were tons of announcements and none of the coins have stuck around. So it just goes to show how tough this market can be, and also how easy it is for people to create coins and leave them behind.
But, we'll still be around, giving you the news, telling you how the blockchain's rolling.
Yep, we'll always be here to keep you up to speed on the latest in kind of altcoins and new coins.
And once again, we're brought to you by cryptopia.co.nz.
Check them out. Check out our forum thread there in the altcoins section. If you post a story about your biggest win or your biggest loss in crypto, or just a kind of a funny story about your experience in crypto, and we will hit you up with 20,000 dots.
Yeah, I'll give a good one. I'll give a lesson learned. Definitely, I guess a good one to share now because of this Poloniex delisting.
Yep.
A coin on my list. Poloniex is really good at keeping track of the coins that they've delisted over time, so my fucking balance is just full of great ones. And one of them is Aircoin, which I learned about as a young crypto enthusiast. They were one of the types of coins that promised a stable market, and this sounded great to me at the time.
They had a stabilization fund.
Yeah, and so I threw my coin in, and they actually had a proof of work phase as well, and I was mining away with my graphics card and bought some, and I was like, whoa, this is like way higher than my buy-in price.
Right.
But I felt greedy, and I was hoping that this was just going to keep going up. Like, no, if it's this high now, it's got to be higher later.
Yeah, of course.
Well, unfortunately, I watched Aircoin dwindle its way into the ground.
Just go down to nothing.
Until it finally was not traded or listed anywhere.
Yeah, it's really funny to think how kind of used to that kind of stuff we are now. And back then it just seemed ridiculous. I remember Aircoin. I had fun with Aircoin because that was one of the first coins I rented on. And because I was like scared of losing money on my rental, I sold right away, which turned out to, of course, work to my advantage because it went straight down. Gotta love those development stabilization funds.
Yeah.
It's like you have a huge pre-mine to stabilize the price of the coin, but the only way to turn that into Bitcoin is to sell it. So, like, the only way to actually put up a buy wall is to sell the coin, which defeats the purpose of the stabilization fund to begin with.
Yeah. So lesson learned. I mean, the idea of something never losing its value is fairly romantic. And
we've seen a lot of coins that try to offer this promise of a stable price through clever parameters, and it never works.
So there's my story. Come share yours, and I'll throw you some dots.
Yep, check us out on cryptopia.co.nz. And yeah, that's going to do it. This has been show number 27.
That's right. I'm Woody.
My name is Brandon Doge, and thanks for listening.
Yep, Air by Trial Radio.
Peace.
Currency.
Like a couple Bitcoins.
Money,
Pull up on my Nakamoto.